Parenting is the hardest job, and there is not a close second. Raising high-performing teen athletes or performers? That's a high-stakes job. I'm Nate Crandall, joined by fellow certified high-performance coach Steve Galley. We coach ambitious parents like you, and also your high-performing teens, because when you both level up, connection and results don't just improve, they multiply. Welcome to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast. We have some burning questions for you.
What is linguistic intentionality?
Other than something that's really hard to pronounce correctly, which I think you did a pretty admirable job of, it's one of my favorite topics in the world to talk about.
I thought it was an Italian dish. Very tasty.
If you go to Olive Garden, you will be able to find it's on the second page of the menu. And
Really?
it goes great with the breadsticks. Have some minestrone with it as well, because that definitely completes the dish. Oh, you really want to know? You really want to know about linguistic intentionality. Okay. It's not an Italian dish, I'll tell you that. It's one of the key skills for being a great communicator, and especially within the parent-teen relationship. It's incredibly important, because how much do our words matter? They matter a ton, don't they? And we need that so much in our world now. We're more precise with our words, being able to say the right thing in the right way at the right time, communicate the correct message that we're really trying to say. It matters a lot. And linguistic intentionality is a key skill when it comes to that.
Because today we are going to explore how we can create really unhealthy relationships with outcomes. And as a part of that unhealthy relationship, usually the words are just an absolute disaster.
Yep. And that's even within our own heads. Like just between people, linguistic intentionality matters, but the way we say things to ourselves in our self-talk, that matters a lot too.
So let's get to a story, Nate.
I like stories.
We have changed all of the names here to protect the innocent. But this, I would imagine if you are listening in wherever you're listening in from, by the way, we're grateful for all our listeners. Subscribe to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast on YouTube. Okay, Nate, let's get to a story that is all too familiar across the country, probably across the world. Finn is a teen athlete. We've changed all the names here, by the way.
Yes.
Although, shout out to your nephew, Finn.
Yay, Finn.
Yeah. Finn is a teen athlete, just finished a tough game in which his team lost. He feels responsible for the loss because he made multiple mistakes. He wasn't the only one. There's a lot of mistakes made, which is usually the case when you end up with a loss, right?
Yep.
And so he goes home, and his parents are a little fired up, especially his dad, Rob, is fired up, wants to discuss the game, wants to start reviewing some of the coach's decisions, and wants to talk about his mistakes, and also really wants to talk about his teammates' mistake. And Finn is just not interested at all. And as this very unproductive, unfruitful conversation is underway, he's just responding with some one-word answers. There's no eye contact, and he's pretty much just ignoring his father. So I think before we dissect this might be a good time to do a quick review of E plus R equals O, don't you think?
E plus R equals O is always good to review, but this situation is definitely one that needs it. Event plus response equals outcome. Events uncontrollable. Outcomes can only be influenced. Our response is what we can control. And that is so important to remember.
Okay, so within any activity that we participate in, within any game competition, there's so many factors outside of our control to build a better relationship with our teen athletes, our performers, and create these better R's, these better responses to the O's, to the outcomes. We have a tool that we use, and we love this tool. We use this with our clients, and we call it the Controllable compass. So we have 4 distinct components, and hopefully I don't have to explain the name, the Controllable compass, but it's kind of implied that this helps you to really focus on creating better responses.
Yeah. And this is kind of a tool within a tool, because we have a response navigator tool, which kind of fits with the idea of that compass as well. But the compass helps give you direction and a place to go. And the first part of that, the true north on the controllable compass, is to have a clear purpose and really make sure you're understanding what is your purpose for the conversations. Linguistic intentionality. What's my purpose for the words I'm choosing to use? The second part on that compass is to maintain a big picture perspective. Zoom out, zoom back, zoom up, fly, whatever analogy you want to use, but creating that big picture perspective and being able to see things within that perspective is so useful at creating a great response.
Okay, the third component is what we call emotional response. And a great question to ask yourself is, how am I going to be my best self? How can I be my best self and best parent in this moment? Because during this emotional time, especially after a loss, this is, I think we're really, and you and I both know this because we've felt this, and we felt it as parents, and we've also felt it as coaches, and we felt it as coaches of our own sons.
Yeah.
This is tough. So how we respond and how we control our emotional response in this moment is critical. The fourth one is what we call focus management. And that is, we like the acronym WIN, W-I-N, meaning what's important now. What is the most important thing right now? That's going to help you to respond like a champion parent.
And that's why it's so important to have a clear purpose and then have a big picture perspective. Because when you choose what to focus on, if you're not thinking of that purpose and not coming from the right perspective, you're going to focus on the wrong thing.
This is where that linguistic intentionality comes in.
Yep. Stop by the Olive Garden and pick it up on your way home. So when you meet up with your child at home, you've got what you need.
Okay, Nate, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. You are going to be Finn's dad. How's that?
Yes, great.
Okay, you are the parent, and we're going to go through those 4 components of the controllable compass.
Okay.
For this situation, which I know you're extremely familiar with. And let's see how you can create a high quality response and be linguistically intentional, and may I say, linguistically responsible.
All right.
So some things to think about here, Finn's dad, is how would you respond in this situation? What have you learned about Finn's lack of interest in responding to you? Like what's coming out of that? And then what's driving your emotions right now? I think this is a really critical one. What's driving your emotions as you are so keen to talk to Finn about the game right now? So if we start with the first of the 4 components, if we start with clear purpose.
That's always a great place to start. This is, oh man, you have to be so careful after a game. And this is most of the parents that we have, their athletes are higher level now. And so there's not necessarily you take them from the game and go and you ride home with them, which gives you the opportunity to pause and reflect on your clear purpose. So I go and I watch him play. I mean, obviously, we'll pick a basketball game. I watch him play a basketball game. They lose. I'm driving home. I know I'm going to meet up with my son at home. What a great opportunity on the drive home to process with my spouse, to talk to them and reflect and make sure, like, if I need to dump, I can dump some garbage. But that's an opportunity for me to make sure I'm stating to myself, especially out loud, what's my purpose for this relationship? Why do we have Finn playing this sport? Why do we care so much about it? and just reflecting on those things and making sure that I know when I get to talk to him again, I'm doing it on purpose for a purpose.
Love it. Okay, second component, big picture perspective.
Again, taking that time to fly that helicopter or that plane up to 40,000 feet and look at,
I thought it was 30,000 feet.
However high you need to get. You go 40, 50, you leave the atmosphere if you need that perspective on it, whatever it takes. If you can remind yourself again, where does this fit into the overall scheme of things? Yeah, it sucks that we lost, but where does this basketball game fit in with that overall perspective? At the end of the day, it's an opportunity for me to watch my son play, do something that he enjoys doing, play with his friends. It's an opportunity for me to sit by my wife and enjoy the experience. Whatever that perspective is, I've got to make sure that I have that clearly in my head as I'm going into a conversation as well.
I always like to ask people, 5 years from now, how important is this game?
Yeah, that's a great perspective.
Okay, we go to the third one, which is emotional response.
This is going to be super nerdy. And a lot of this is the self-talk.
From you?
From
you? Okay.
I love the nerdiness. The self-talk matters a ton. So it's the linguistic intentionality you're talking about. Now that's got to come up, but it's got to come up in the form of, I got to process my emotions. What am I feeling? What's coming up for me? And why is that coming up for me? I'm feeling really frustrated by that. Well, why am I frustrated about it? I didn't play in the game. What is it that frustrates me? Maybe I'm excited. Maybe whatever emotion pops up, we've got to be aware of our emotions. Because if we're aware of it and we can name it, now when we go into a conversation with our team, we have a handle on our emotions. So I'm not going to be shooting from the hip from an emotional response and hit them with something like, well, your coach sucks, or, those guys on the team, they're not any good, and start ripping on them. Those are all emotional junk that I don't need to throw at my kid. He doesn't need that, and that doesn't fit with my purpose and perspective. So just being aware of what's the emotions that are coming up for me and how can I manage that and respond to them well.
I really like that. And it's founded in honesty.
Yep. And all progress starts with the truth.
And when we go off the rails emotionally,
and what a bad example it sets for our kids too.
It is. And I just don't think that, and I've been guilty of this as a parent and as a coach. That's a really hard time to be honest. That's why I love this tool is if you work through this and use this tool in advance, then when you get in these situations, it's like, oh, okay, I have the right screwdriver for this.
Exactly.
Versus I'm showing up and trying to undo a bolt with my fingers.
Right. I'm not showing up with all these emotions that I haven't processed yet that are going to just muddy the water and mess things up.
Exactly. Okay, last component of the controllable compass, and that is focus management, where you're focusing on what matters most.
Yep.
So what would you do with Finn in this situation?
I would just go into a conversation with a very, very clear picture in my head about what is it that is most important, what's important right now. And I have to be honest enough to accept that what's important right now may just be he just wants to go hang out with his friends. And that may be the most important thing right now. And as much as I want to focus on the loss and I want to do this and I want to do that, it's not about me. And so really, like, the best answer of what to focus on, I got to focus on my kid. I got to focus on their needs and what they are experiencing, what they need to get out of this.
Boy, that's a tough pill to swallow for for high performing, competitive.
Yeah.
Especially dads, but we'll throw some moms in there too, because there's sometimes you have some fiery moms that this is a really challenging
really high
situation.
Level athletes, they know their stuff. They understand and they're great. They want to talk about the game too. Yep. That about covers it. I think that this tool just does such a good job of helping you prepare for being linguistically intentional in those really important post-game, post-performance situations, conversations.
Yeah, speaking of that, if any of you want the tool, you can find me, Steve Galley, on LinkedIn. Just send me a direct message there and I'll send you the tool. No strings attached. I will not send you a coupon for some linguini. You're on your own for that. But yeah, if you want the tool, go ahead, message me. I'd be happy to send it to you.
And he will respond with a message written with linguistic intentionality.
Nate Crandall and Steve Galley would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you love what you're experiencing and learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, please like, comment, and or leave a glowing review of this episode and the show. And to further help Nate and Steve expand their reach and impact thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please share the show and subscribe to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast channel on YouTube. And if you want to explore further to see what Nate and Steve are creating to help parents of athletes and performers everywhere, please visit their website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you will find a growing number of tools and resources to help you elevate your parenting. Thanks again for tuning in. Now go create a magical relationship with your athlete or performer.